some of them made me think, like, how am I going to answer her? I don't know how to answer that. Hey guys, today is the day for the Q&A video that I talked about a couple times on different videos that I wanted to do a Q&A because I don't remember ever doing one before. And I asked a question, or I didn't ask a question. Well, I did, I guess. I asked you to ask questions on my community tab, and some of you actually put questions on, and I'm looking at them on my screen because it's honestly the only way that I can. Well, I could have written them out, but some of them are quite long and some of them are multiple. Multiple questions in one thing. And Jeff is not here. He has to work, and we cannot figure out any time for him to be able to sit down with me and do this. So we're just going to I'll answer the questions that he has, or that are for him, because I know the answers. At least I mostly know the answers. I think I do anyway. There might be some that we'll have to show you later, because there are a couple of questions about the mobile home, and he'll have to actually show you in person, and it'd probably be better that way anyway. Or not in person. Anyway, you know what I mean. On a separate video. Okay, there are a couple of questions on here that I have not really ever gone into on my channel. I've never wanted to. And I will do my best today to answer the question, and we'll just go from there. Because there's especially one question that I just don't know how to answer. I really don't. Because my thought process is totally different than what others are with the whole situation. So I'm gonna try to wait for the air conditioner to go off so I can answer these questions, but I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm really glad that I stopped recording for a minute, which the air conditioner probably will come back on, but because Noah came through with the dogs so that he could let them out, and they were a little bit loud today. Some days they're really loud, some days they're not. So I'm going to go ahead and do the questions. I think there's 11, well, there's 10 people, I want to say, because SJ Butler did 2 because she did an also. So I'm just gonna do her first one, and then I'll do her second one. Let's see. Hi Kathy, how did you and your husband meet, and when and where did you get married? What is your love story? If you don't mind sharing, thanks, Sandra. So that's who SJ Butler is SJ Butler 2330 is Sandra. She's been hanging out with us for a while. For a while now. And I don't really, this is one that I don't usually talk about much, because there were some situations that happened that were very hurtful, and so I don't really talk about them a lot. That how do I explain it? That hurt us and made me go down a path I shouldn't have for a while. But anyway, I'll go ahead and answer as well as I can, but it's going to be the short version. I'm not going to go into all the details because there's a lot of details. So how did we meet? I was living with my sister when I was 14 years old, and Jeff was working with her boyfriend, and they rode together. And I met Jeff through her boyfriend, who is now her husband, and they actually just had their anniversary, and now Jeff is my husband. But they were trying to set me up with Jeff's younger brother. That was a definite no-go. I didn't like him. I liked Jeff. But we dated for a little while. It was, I mean, a lot of times I had my nephew with me. It was because I was babysitting him while she worked and things. And we just hung out together and went to softball games together and stuff like that. for a short time, and we loved each other. We knew we loved each other, but whenever some things were said about us that were not true, my mama made us break up. And this is the reason why I don't talk about this, is because if mama had known the truth, I don't think that she would have intervened. But I can tell you absolutely for sure that the things that were said about us were absolutely not true. So we broke up, and I still loved him, but then later on I ended up getting married at 15. And this is another reason why I don't talk about this, because I don't really like talking about this part of my life. We were both very young, too stupid to be getting married, well, no, not stupid, too young to be getting married, too immature to be getting married. And I was divorced by the time I was 16. So Jeff and I got back together, and we've been together ever since. And we just have been together ever since. There's been a lot of bumps and bruises and things along the way, but once we found each other again, we didn't let go. And like I said, there's been a lot of bumps and bruises, but we're fighting for each other and not fighting against each other, is what I say, because at one point we fought a lot because of other people trying to meddle in our marriage. Even though they thought they were trying to do what was best, they were not. They were harming our marriage, when I feel like they should have been trying to help build our marriage. So yeah, we decided a long time ago to fight for each other and not with each other anymore, and we're good. We have been good for a very long time. We're very happy. So that's just the short version of all the things. So that might be some things you've never known about me, and that is one thing that I don't talk about on here, and I may never talk about again. Okay, so the other question is, and I don't mind telling you, or I would have told you that I couldn't answer that I was not going to. The second question that Sandra had is, also, will you move first and then sell your home, or sell first then move to the mobile home? The plan is to move to the mobile home as soon as we have it ready. That's why we're trying to get it ready as quickly as we can, with most of the time just 3 of us working on it. And of course, you know, I couldn't work on it very much before. Now I can do more. And the reason why I say most of the time is only the 3 of us is because we have had some help different times. You know that. We've talked about it. I've shown it on videos. So you know we've had some help from family members that have come over and done different things with Jeff and Noah. So yeah, it's mostly just 3 of us. So it's a big task for 3 people, and you're only working 1 to 2 days a weekend. And we have at times been able to work a little bit more than that, but mostly it's just the weekends, other than whenever Jeff was off at Christmas. So we're gonna move first, then sell this house, because 1, we can get all of our stuff out of here and people can see it better, because we have a lot of stuff, and selling a home with this much stuff in it I think would be a lot harder. And also, I don't want to be on a time crunch trying to get out of here, letting the other people get in. It would give me anxiety to be living in a house that someone else is purchasing. And I know that there are, you know, there's time where that for closing and all that stuff, but I just really just don't want to do that. And we are going to do some work to this house. There's some things that need to be done that I would not sell this house without it being done, because I wouldn't want to buy it without it being done. It's not big things, there's not any major problems, but it's just little things that need to be finished that have already been started, and the next person that moves in may not know how to do it themselves, and Jeff does, and he already started it and he wants to finish it. So there's that. So move into the mobile home and then repair and sell this house is the plan. Okay, so the next one is, I don't want to say the last part because I'm scared I'm going to mess it up, but it's Dana Kapahu. Please tell me I'm saying it right. Kapahu? I don't know. 4105. That's who asked. Dana. I'm going to say Dana. How many kids do you have? We have 2. We would have had more, but, well, we have 2 here. I have had 5 miscarriages and 1 ectopic pregnancy. I still consider those my babies because they are my babies, but we only have 2 living children that I was able to carry full term. So we have 2, Noah and Selena. Okay, so the next one, the screen name is Crazy Yet Wonderful Life, but I know that's Sarah Place. Her channel is called Sarah Place. She has a question. It says, only 3 things you always find in your purse. She said, I asked this because my daughter asked me to watch a TV show, Ghost, on Paramount, and it's a clean show. How about a woman who can see and talk to ghosts? This is an older show, I'm pretty sure. It seems like I remember it. Anyways, the one ghost passed away, and you get to keep whatever you have on you when you pass away. And she had her purse full of goodies, like she had some type of chocolate, and the older ghost never tried it, but the older ghost couldn't try it because it was attached to the younger ghost because she passed away with the chocolate. It's funny with a little bit of history. Have you watched the show yet? No, I have not watched the show. And 3 things that I always have in my purse. Actually, the things that I have in my purse right now are things that I always have in there. There's more than 3 that I always have, but I'm just going to tell you 3. 1, I have my wallet. I don't know how that would help me if I was in this scenario. Oh, it's not closed. In this scenario, with the ghost thing, you know, I know it's not real, but it's a cute story. Closed. There we go. I always have that in my wallet, or in my purse. Oh goodness, there's so many things I want to share that maybe one day I'll show you what I have in my purse. I always have a nail file. This is one of the glass nail files. I really like it. Anyway, I always have a nail file because you always need it. There's so many things that I always have. And I always have pen and paper. I'm going to say pen and paper because that goes together. But that's not all that I always have. But if you ever want to know what's in my purse, I'll show you sometime, because I don't think there's anything in there that I couldn't share. But those are things that I always have. Always. Because, you know, gotta have your ID and, you know, things to buy things with. Alright. And I'm thinking about swapping purses just because that one really needs washing. I swapped to that one because it was smaller for me to tote around after my surgery. But honestly, the other purse that I was using before that was the same weight. It was just a bigger purse. Alright, so there's that one. Okay, so Jonna Baldwin 5567, I'm not going to say the numbers, I don't think. Jonna asked, for me, I know you talk about your sisters, but do you have brothers? I don't have brothers. I have one brother. Unless I count my brother-in-laws, and then I have quite a few. Because all of my sisters are married. But I have one brother and 6 sisters. So, there's that. And then Jeff, she asked, how many brothers and sisters do you have? He has 1 brother and 3 sisters. So there's 2 boys, 3 girls in his family. So there's 5 children. Alright, Kathy, will your mom be closer to you once you're moved? Yes, she will be closer. Oh, I gotta read more. There's lots of questions in hers, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it at all. Yes, she will be closer whenever we move. She will be about 40 minutes closer than what she is now. And I saw a thing the other day about how that a lot of people from the States and from the South go by minutes instead of miles. And we do that because you never know how many minutes it's gonna, like, I could go across town 5 miles and it might take me 20 minutes. Whereas from my mama's house to where our land is gonna be, or where our land is, it's about 20 miles. It'll take about, you know, 20-30 minutes to get there. So yeah, it's according to traffic. That's just a little tidbit. But anyway, yes, I'll be closer. Where the home is now, and there's then once you get it to your land. Where our mobile home is right now, and our land is only about a mile from each other. Our land is only about a mile from that mobile home. So it's not going to take that much difference in time. like a minute. A mile a minute. All right. Once you get set up on your land, or you think about having livestock, I want to have goats. I don't know if, well, the next question, how many acres is your land? It's 5.5 acres. I don't know. I know we're going to have chickens, and I want turkeys, and I want quail again. I probably will not get rabbits again, but you know, once these that we have are gone, I probably won't ever get rabbits again. But I do want chickens, of course. I've got chickens now. I want turkeys just because I want them, and I want quail because I want those. And I do want goats. I don't know if there'll be room for anything else, but we have talked about raising a cow to eat. But then again, we could get our nephew Hunter. He does raise cows from calves for people like that, and he feeds them out and everything, and I would never have to touch it until it's time to cook it. And I think I would like that better, because I don't think I could eat something that I raised from a baby, unless it's maybe a chicken, and then I don't know. I want the chickens for the eggs. But anyway, let's go on. And plus they eat bugs. Okay, will you be able to hunt on our land? We could hunt on our land. There's just a tiny bit where there's wooded area. We could hunt in the backyard or in the back area. We could if we wanted to, but there's not a lot of space. And then there's another question, does anyone even hunt? Yes, both of the boys hunt. Jeff and Noah both. But we could hunt on our land, but there's not much there. But the gentleman that sold us the land, he and his wife, told us we could hunt on all of their land as much as we wanted. So we have land around it that will not be sold that we can hunt on. So yeah. What needs to be done to your land before you can move on your home there? Everything. At this point, was a cornfield. So before we can even think about moving our mobile home there without it sinking, if it's rainy weather, or and be able to drive on it, we need to disc that corn, all that corn husk and all the corn stalks, all that stuff. We need to disc all of that into the ground, and we need to plant grass and have grass established very well so that that grass can hold that earth down so we don't sink, because grass does that. We need to plant the grass. We need to get a septic tank done. We know someone that we want to get to do that. It's actually some friends that we've known for years. And let's see, we've got to get septic. We've got to get water, because there's no water there. We're either going to have to get a well, or we're going to have county water come down, and it's about the same amount of money both ways. So we don't know which one we're going to do. We might do both eventually, just to have the well, you know, and then have the other for backup or something. We don't know yet. But we've got to have water, and we've got to have electric there, which the electric is the least problem. That's the easiest thing to get done, because we would have to do the same thing we're about to do at the mobile home where it is right now, and that's put a pole up, and then they come and string the wire over, because there's already power going down that dirt road. But we have to do everything. And also we have to have the driveway. Right now it's just like a drop off. It's like straight down. You can't drive down that. We do have it cleared off. You guys have seen that in videos maybe, but otherwise you can't, you know, see it. And then Terry, she just said, Psalm 23, take care, may God bless you and yours. Bye for now. I think she might have accidentally thought that this was like, because someone did ask what my favorite Bible verse is, which is another one that it's kind of difficult for me to answer, but I'll get to that one when I get there. So maybe she thought that was the question. Maybe she thought I was asking. I don't know. But either way, hi. Love you. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to have a little coffee. Okay. And then Donna, who I see her name is Java First. I don't know if you guys do or not. I don't know how you guys see it. She has a few questions. This is the one where we may have to show you some of these. Alright, would you be up for showing how to do certain things when he gets to that part of getting the place ready? Or would Jeff be up for showing? Yes, he would. He said he would try his best to show things, but the thing is with Jeff, he's a doer, not a talker. So what I have to do is try to explain it, because sometimes whenever he explains things, it might be in the way he learned it. It might not be in, it may not be called the proper thing. It might be just what he has always called it, or what people have always called it around. So you might not be able to go into Home Depot or Lowe's and buy that thing, or do that, you know, ask about it and it be the proper name. He knows proper names, but he doesn't usually use them because that's just not what he's always called it. So we will do our best to show you whatever. He will do whatever he can. Just, Donna, let us know some specifics. Maybe send me an email. Alright, and you did show some things. I mean, you did tell some things here. I'd really like to see how the fireplace is done in detail, and how to do the door and room thresholds. Now, the fireplace, I don't know if you're talking about in the living room or the bedroom, what we're planning on doing in there. The living room, that is just a fireplace that was already in the mobile home, and it's made for gas logs. As far as I know. As far as I know, you can never put a real fire in there. Well, I know gas is real fire, but I mean like a wood burning situation. It's not built for that. So, I don't know if that's what you mean, but it just let me know if that's what you mean, if it's that. And the door and room thresholds. Okay, the room thresholds, as far as I know, because we're running the same exact flooring all the way through, he's just going to run that floor right over. He's not going to change it. He's just going to keep going. And it's going to be like a never-ending floor of the same thing the whole way. That's what I think he's doing. Because we're going to use the same flooring throughout. And it's going to be that vinyl plank that you just, you know, snap together. Which we're going to show that when it's time. And the door thresholds for the front and back door, the doors actually came with a threshold. So it may end up that the flooring meets it. But I'm going to do my best to show you. And I might be able to tell you some other ways, like give you some ideas, because I know that you're talking about, or you're thinking about like wheelchair access and stuff. We are going to make it wheelchair accessible, and that is one reason why that we put the wider doors in, is so that it is wheelchair accessible for the home. So we're going to do our best to show you that. We're going to see what we can do. Okay, are you going to paint the outside of the mobile home? Have you decided on a color if you're going to paint it? We will possibly paint it before we move it to our land, just to protect it from rust or anything like that, because it is metal. And if we do, it's going to be just white, most likely. If it does have any accent colors, I don't know yet. We don't know. We haven't chosen any colors. But after we move it, after we get it established on our property and we kind of get settled and we get the roof done, because we want to get a metal roof put all the way across the top of it and all the way out the front and back, so we can have porches on the front and back. After we do that, we are going to put, like, I cannot remember the name of that type of insulation, but it's like a foam board insulation on the outside, and we're going to put wood on the outside, and we're either going to stain it, or we'll just use the type of treatment that you use for treated wood, like the picnic table we got, or something like that, that you put on every couple of years. You just put that stuff on. We don't know if we really want to do that. I would rather just do a one-time thing and not have to think about it, because I would think that that stuff gets into your ground if you spray it every couple of years. So we haven't really gone that far yet because it's going to be a while. We haven't discussed that, so we will. But we do plan on putting the metal. Okay, another question Donna has is how far away are major hospitals and grocery stores, as well as primary and other non-primary doctors? Okay, so there is a small hospital that is in the town next to where we're in a little community, and then there's a town like 15 minutes down the road, and then there's another small hospital the opposite way that is about 30 minutes, maybe not even 30 minutes. That's where my mama lives. And then there's another one probably about 45 minutes away, and then there's the ones here that are about 45 minutes to an hour away. So we're not too far from any hospitals. There's lots of hospitals all the way around us, and then there's another one that's probably another 45 minutes to an hour away south of where we are moving to. That's where that my father-in-law goes quite a bit. And that's where my mama actually had 2 surgeries. So yeah, there's lots of those. There's lots of doctors all over the place. There's plenty of doctors. Okay, I've been talking so long that the camera quit, so I will probably be sticking to my primary care physician because I really like him, and that's who all 3 of us go to. That's who Selena went to as well before she moved, but I will probably stick with him. There are lots of specialists here, and there's lots of specialists down at the hospital around that town that's about 45 minutes away that I talked about, and then there's lots that is at the place where I said my father-in-law goes and that my mama goes. So there's lots of doctors, a lot of medical things. My dentist is now in the town next to where our land is, which is like 15 minutes at the most. The medical questions do not mean specific to you personally, as that is too nosy, but just that if there are if needed. Oh, whoops, I got personal. Well, I only know me. But yeah, there's plenty of doctors close. They're not too far away. There's hospitals close, not too far away. And grocery stores, there's actually a Dollar General, which I know it's not a grocery store, but they have groceries too. There's a Dollar General that's about 10 minutes one way, and then another one about 10 minutes the other way, and that one has groceries in it. And then, like the town that I was talking about, there's 2 grocery stores that I know of, and then there's another Dollar General that says the Market, Dollar General Market. So there's plenty of grocery stores. There's lots of places like the town my mama lives in, which I probably won't shop there, because even when I lived there, I hated shopping there, so I probably won't do that. But there's one about 30 minutes away. There's a lot of grocery stores. And hold on, I've got a frog in my throat. Okay, sorry about that. I had to clear my throat a couple of times because I tried to start again and then it happened again. So the grocery stores are not that far, but then you have to think about the fact that where I live right now in a big city, it can take me 10 minutes to get to the Walmart that's a couple miles down the road. So really it's not a big deal to go 10-15 minutes to the store, you know. It can take me, and honestly, I don't even like shopping where we live right now, and the majority of the time we go like 20 or so minutes away from here to shop at stores that actually have the things we want, because here in the big city most of the time they're out of all kinds of things, and so I would just rather go to a different place. So grocery shopping is not a big deal. It'll be easy. Now, Sam's Club, it's gonna be about an hour away. So I will have to be, because y'all know I like Sam's Club. I'll go about twice a month most of the time. So I will, what my plan is, we've been talking about it, we've been thinking about it. My plan is to make a big Sam's Club list and go once a month to like get the cold things that I like to get there and stock up, and then the other things we can get delivered from Sam's to the house. a lot of things we can. Not everything, but a lot we can. So that'll be fine. That'll be easy. Grocery stores are not that far, not any, but what am I saying? Grocery stores are not much different than here. Okay, if you wanted to go out to eat, this is still a Donna question. This is her last one. She likes to ask questions and I love it. She sends me emails. We have conversations all the time. I love it because we've become really good friends. I consider us really good friends, so I'm the one that matters. No, she considers us friends too. All right, if you wanted to go out and eat for a special occasion and not just take out, how far would you have to go? There are a couple of decent restaurants in the town that is right there near the land, about 10-15 minutes. About the same as I would here. Now, to go to the really good restaurant will probably be 30 to 45 minutes. Ones that I would like more, most likely. But you guys know that most of the time we cook at home. But if we did want to go for a special occasion, it would be about the same as what we do here, because, well, a little bit more than what we do here, because most of the time we don't eat in the city we live in. If we want to go to a sit-down restaurant is what we call it. We don't, you know, if we want to go fast food, we might go here. But if we want to go to somewhere where you sit down to a nice Mexican restaurant, or to just a nice steakhouse or something, we would go to another town anyway. So it's not going to be that much difference. Honestly, it's not. Okay, so now I'm going to Tiffany from Our Small Town Life. Y'all know her, I'm sure. This is another difficult question for me. What is your favorite Bible verse? And that should be the most easy question for a lot of people, but I cannot pick a favorite. I can't. I don't know why, but there's times whenever this one resonates with me and then that one resonates with me. But one that has always made me question a lot of things, and I want to go over that while we're talking, is John 11:35. The shortest scripture, or shortest verse in the Bible, is Jesus wept. And I want to tell you why that verse means so much to me, or why it makes me think so much. One, that he wept because his friend Lazarus had just died. But then again, I asked myself, did he cry because of Lazarus? Because Lazarus could be resurrected. He knew that Lazarus was coming back. He could bring Lazarus back. So I was like, this is my thought process, you know, kind of. I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. Was he really crying over Lazarus's death? Because he knew he could bring him back. And then I thought, you know, well, this is lots of times I thought about this. It's just something that I just think about so many different times. It's so funny. But then I think, well, maybe he was crying because of the people being so, you know, their unbelief. Maybe he was thinking, well, after all these things that I've done, after all these people that I have healed, why don't they have faith that this could happen, that he could come back, you know? And I wonder, did he cry because of the people's unbelief? And then I think about, oh, well, maybe he was crying because of Mary and Martha, because, you know, back then, if, you know, they didn't say Mary and Martha were married. And back then, if a female did not have a male to take care of her, a father, a husband, a brother, then they were destitute. They did not have any way of income. But then I think, well, no, there were Jesus' followers, and Jesus took care of all of his followers. They were all a group together, and he wouldn't be crying over them, I would think. But then I thought, well, maybe he's crying because of Mary and Martha's unbelief. Maybe he's crying because of them not understanding that he could bring their brother back. You know, it's just all these questions I've wondered, but I never have the answer, and really it doesn't matter. But I think about how much that Jesus loved Lazarus and all the people around that were, you know, mourning his death, his sisters, his friends, his family. And Jesus cried about that. He wept. And then, you know, the very next thing they're saying, the Jews are saying, see how he loved him? He loved him so much he's weeping. But then other ones were like, oh, well, he made this one, he healed this one, why couldn't he do this? Why couldn't he keep him from dying, you know? And I think, wow, they see this man weeping. They see that our Lord and Savior weeping. They're followers of him. Well, they're the Jews, but Jesus was a Jew, you know, he's a Jew. But they see this pain in Jesus, you know, but they're still, some of them, hateful, you know. And sometimes I wonder, do we see Jesus weeping and we're hateful? Do we see Jesus weeping and we feel sorry for him and we're repentant? So many thoughts that this one little verse can do to me. And this is just some of the things that I think about. So I wouldn't say it's my favorite verse, but it's one that makes me think a lot. And that is the kind of verses, that's my favorite type of verse, are the verses that make me think. They make me dig further into the Word. They make me want to read more and study God more. And seeing the humanness in Jesus, because he wept over his friend, makes me want to do what he wants more, if that makes sense. It makes me want to be a better person, a better Christian, you know, just a better human, and not have the doubts and not ask the whys like they did, you know. It makes me want to see the love he has. So I don't think that I really answered that question, but I hope that was okay, because I really don't have a favorite verse. I don't. They change. Okay, so Annette Hoffman says, how far away from where you live now is your new home? It's about an hour away. 50, 60 miles. It's not that far. I mean, that's not exact mileage, because I don't really know how to tell you that, because I haven't checked it. But it's not far. It's about an hour away, but it's about 40 minutes closer to my side. Well, not all of my side of the family, but some of my, like, it's about 40 minutes closer to my mama, and it's about 50 minutes closer to Jeff's parents. So let's see. Then Kathy Davis says, is your hubby retiring? Why are you moving? He hopefully one day soon, maybe, will be retiring, but that is not the purpose of our move. It will help us when it comes to retirement, because we won't be in debt anymore. But he's not planning on retiring right now, but hopefully this will help him retire sooner. And the reason why we're moving is, well, I only have my mama left, so I will say our parents that are still with us are getting older. They have health problems, and we definitely want to be closer to them. I know we're not a huge amount away from them, but we just want to get closer to them. That, and we honestly hate living in the city. We don't feel like we belong here. We don't feel like we've ever belonged here. We only moved here to be closer to his job. So we knew we would never stay here. We didn't know where we were going to end up in the, you know, once we landed in the country again. We didn't know where that was going to be at, but we knew we would not always live here. So this was in the plans, but it is happening faster than what we expected, because I believe that's the way God wants it to be. I believe God wants us to, I don't think things would have fallen into place so well if it wasn't what God wanted. So that is why we're moving, is to get closer to family, to get out of the city, and to just be closer to our roots, closer to home, closer to where we feel comfortable, because we don't really feel comfortable here. I mean, we're okay. We're not scared or anything like that. That's not what I mean. But it just feels, well, like where we belong, I guess. It's where that I think we are supposed to be. And I do feel like we were supposed to be here for a certain amount of time, but then, you know, it's time for us to move on to the next step. So I hope that makes sense. But yes, hopefully one day he will get to retire, because I would much rather have him home. And hopefully this will help him retire sooner. Okay, and then the last question is Amy from Our Blessed Family. She asked me the question that I never know how to answer, because I would like to know how you became a Christian, my testimony. I have told you guys before that I walked away from the Lord at a time. So I'm just going to tell you, okay, first of all, I do not know the date when I first gave my life to the Lord. I don't. I know it was Easter, but that's it. I've got it written down in a Bible somewhere, but I do not know the date. Just off the top of my head. And it was after 9/11, and I just felt like something needed to change in my life. I just kept feeling this something. And then my sister invited me to her church, and we went to her church, and that day I just felt God move in my life. I felt something there tugging at my heart. I felt like, and I knew about God. I grew up in church. I knew about God, but I didn't ever know. I mean, I was in my 20s, but still, I didn't know the real meaning of repentance or anything like that, which I didn't know that then. But I didn't know a lot about being a Christian, is what I'm trying to say. And there was so much legalism when I was growing up that I thought I was bound for hell no matter what. So, you know, it wasn't that I was a bad person. It wasn't that I was just, you know, going out and doing things I shouldn't be doing just to be doing them. But that was my thought process. So I felt that day something in the sermon clicked, and I felt like that I was supposed to give my life to the Lord, and so I did. And then we went through some things with and later on Jeff became a Christian too, but that's his story, which I don't even know if he's like me. It's different. I don't even know if he knows the day or anything. But anyway, we went through things. We walked away from the Lord. I need to stop saying we, but we did both at about the same time. I walked away from the Lord and lived in the world and hated myself. And I did not hate God, but I hated myself. So I was stupid. And then I started feeling this, you know, well, first it started off with Noah. I caught him in his room with his laptop, and he wasn't supposed to be watching anything or anything like that. And so I made him show me what he was watching, and I thought he was watching something bad. He was watching a preacher on YouTube. And whenever I caught him doing that, something happened in me that I felt like, wait a minute, my child is even noticing that we're not in church anymore and asking me questions. And then Selena was asking me, why don't we go to church anymore and all this stuff. So I felt like, well, we needed to go back. And I kept feeling that, and I felt like God was telling me that in many different ways. And so one Wednesday night, Jeff was at work, and I took the kids to a church that I had never been to. It's not even the same people there anymore. I don't even know if the church even exists anymore. And that night I rededicated my life. I don't know what day it was. I just know it was a Wednesday night or anything like that. But that's how I became a Christian. That's the only way I know how to explain it. I don't know the dates. I just know the circumstances in my life, that my heart was broken, and I was broken, and I'm still broken. But now, instead of fighting against God mending me, I'm allowing him to do what he needs to do and work in my life. And I feel like that my testimony, I mean, your testimony is what you live. My conversion story is that, but my testimony is the life I live daily, and what I do and what I share with others, like how that I am now and how I'm changing all the time. Because I think that your testimony is something you are always living. Let your life be a testament to what God is doing. And I don't usually answer that question. I'm only answering it because it's Amy. I might have answered it if it was one of you other guys too, but I'm only answering it because she asked. And I think even Donna had said something about it before, and you both said something very close to each other. I don't know if you've been talking. No, I'm sure you haven't. I'm just joking. I don't know. Maybe you have, but I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. And that's one reason why I don't. And it's not that I was like murdering people and stuff. I mean, I might have been murdering them in my brain. But I was ruining my own life by not letting God rule my life. So I made that change, and now I'm happier than I've ever been. I am more content than I've ever been, and I have more peace than I have ever had. Now, am I always wonderful and always have peace? No. Am I always okay? No. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's not life. The Bible does not tell you that everything's going to be hunky-dory and wonderful, and you're going to have everything just, grand after you become a Christian. But you have grace, and you have someone you can go to whenever you're having hard times. In fact, was it yesterday's devotion? I don't remember. It was in a devotion recently. I cannot remember what it was. It was March 30th. And this is the New Morning Mercies, David Tripp, or is it Paul David Tripp? Let me look. Paul David Tripp. I really like this. But I'm not going to read all of this, but this really got me to thinking, and I think this is what really made me decide that I was going to answer this question, because honestly, I was not going to answer this question. I was not going to answer Amy's question publicly. And the reason why is because I don't know the dates, and everybody else knows the dates of the day they gave their life to the Lord. Everybody else has this big story, and I don't have a big story. I saw that I was doing so many things against God that I shouldn't have been doing, and I knew He was the only one that could save me, because I was killing myself. Like, not literally, but you know what I'm saying, figuratively. I was harming myself. So anyway, it says, if you're God's child, you're either giving in to sin or giving away to the operation of rescuing grace, but your heart's never neutral. One of the beautiful results of God's redeeming grace in your life and mine is that the hearts of stone have been taken out of us and replaced. I wish I could read right, and this would be so much better for y'all. Replaced with hearts of flesh. And when I read that, I was like, wait a minute. My heart of stone, the one that was like, I don't care what anybody thinks, I don't care. And when I really did care, I was just hard. I was not nice. I was not gentle. I was not loving. It was replaced with a heart of flesh. From stone to flesh. Okay. Think of the word picture. Think of the word picture here. If I had a stone in my hands and pressed it with all of my might, what do you think would happen? Well, if you could see the size of my arms, you would immediately know the answer to the question. I could press that stone with all of the strength that I have, and nothing whatsoever would happen. Stone is not malleable. It exists in a fixed shape. Before your conversion, you had that kind of heart. It was resistant to change, and that is not true any longer. Grace has given you a fleshy heart, one that is moldable by transforming grace. And that right there is what made me decide to answer this question, because I was like, Amy's going to be mad at me because I don't want to answer this question. But it says, now this means that when you sin, desiring, thinking, saying, or doing what is wrong in God's eyes, your conscience bothers you. What we're talking about here is a convicting ministry of the Holy Spirit. When your conscience bothers you, you have only two choices. You can gladly confess that what you have done is sin and place yourself in once again under the justifying mercies of Christ, or you can erect some system of self-justification that makes what God says is wrong acceptable to your conscience. We are all so good at doing this. We are good at pointing to something or someone who justifies what we have done. We are all very good at systems of self-atonement that essentially argue for our righteousness. And then it goes on talking about other things. I really love this book, y'all. It's so good. It makes you think. Makes you think. But anyway, I had a life before of, it was constantly somebody else's fault. It was somebody else's fault why I wasn't happy. It was somebody else's fault why my life was miserable. It was somebody else's fault. They did this, they did that. It was because of my childhood. It was because and yes, all of those things affected me. All of those things might have had a start in it, but it's my fault if I stay there. It's my fault if I don't grow from that. If I don't let God change my heart. It's my fault. Because none of those things are still there. None of those things are still happening because I stay away from it. But it was always somebody else's fault. I never took the blame. And once I did, and then I took that blame and I asked God to take it from me. I asked God to heal me, to save me, to change my heart, to change my mind. That's how I became who I am now. And I joke a lot. But, I guess that's my testimony. I let God do what he wanted to do with me as well as I know how. And I'm learning every day. I'm staying in the Word and I'm staying in my prayer closet. And I'm not letting the world seep in at any time. I mean, like, if I see the world coming, trying to get into my heart again and trying to turn my heart into stone again, I reject it. Where before I was rejecting God trying to change me. So, my camera's about to change again or stop again. So I'll be right back. So, those are the questions. Those are my answers. Hopefully they made sense. Hopefully you know me better now. Hopefully the answers were good enough. I don't really know. I still feel kind of weird about answering a couple of those questions because I really don't know how to answer them. Like 3 of them definitely. I knew that I would get some questions that I probably wouldn't want to answer. But I answered them anyway this time. I'm not saying that I will always do that, but at this point in time I felt okay. I did pray about it before I did answer any of them. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope that I will see you again next time. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And thank you for the questions. Some of them made me think, like, how am I going to answer her? I don't know how to answer that. That's not something that I think about. That's just not something that I know how to answer. You know, so. And also, Donna, the questions about the mobile home, if there's some specifics that we don't show you, please let me know and I'll try to figure out how to do it. Or if any of you have any ideas, like any specific things that you want us to do. Did I answer Annette's, how far are you from where you live now is your new home? Yes, I answered Annette's. Okay. Anyway, if there's a specific thing that we're doing, like, that I say we're going to do, and you're like, oh, I want to see whenever you do that. Because I know some things I'm not showing y'all because there's so much. And like I've said, if I tried to show you everything, it'd have to be a 24/7 live stream, and I'm not into that. You know. So, I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload. And, it's completely free to do that. I know that, you know, I say that lately, but I just want you to know it does not cost you anything to subscribe to my channel. Most importantly, oh, well, I would like for you to share if you think somebody would like to watch too. But most importantly, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing. If you have a prayer request, go ahead and leave that as well. And if you have a an unspoken prayer request that you just don't want anybody to know, but you just want prayer, that's fine. God knows what you want to be, what you want us to be praying about. We don't have to know. So you can just say, I have an unspoken request, and I will put your name on the list, and I will, God knows. That's all that matters. I don't have to know. If there's something that you don't want everyone, to pray about, but you just maybe want me to pray, not that my prayers are special. I'm no different than you. My prayers aren't special, but the more of us that are talking to God about you, the better, I think. I don't know. That's my philosophy anyway. But if there's something you don't want to put out there into the internet world, you can, well, it'll still be in the internet world, but you can send me an email. It'd be private. How about that? I won't tell anybody. And yeah, if you want to be put on the prayer list anyway. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.